Very few people in Hollywood are able to leave such legendary and lasting legacies like Roger Christian has. From his work on Star Wars, Alien, even Life of Brian, Roger will be forever immortalized in the creation of the Graflex lightsaber.
Here today with a legend in the Star Wars universe, Mr. Roger Christian.
Hello, nice to meet you. Nice to be here.
It's an honor meeting you. Thank you so much for joining us today. Roger, tell us, who are you?
Well, I was an Academy Award-winning set decorator for the very first Star Wars.
So that would be episode 4 for you young kids that aren't aware of this. Before it was episode 4, it was just Star Wars.
Just Star Wars, and then got renamed A New Hope. As set decorator, I had to create the entire used universe for Star Wars, from weapons, lightsaber, R2-D2, C-3PO, the land speeder, Tatooine. We had to create everything, the Death Star, the entire used universe without very little budget. We had no money, and there was no faith in the film. Nobody wanted to make it. Fox grudgingly gave us a bit of money to make it, and so I had an ambition to do a film that everybody believed was a science fiction world, which was to make it old and used and real, rather than all this fantasy kind of over-designed science fiction before that.
We had a brief moment to talk before, but as a fan, it's very easy for me to say this from the outside. You've created timeless, iconic pieces of media that anyone can recognize. The Millennium Falcon, R2-D2, Anakin's and Luke's lightsaber. Those are your creations.
Yeah. I grew up, for me, there was King Arthur. And when you think of King Arthur, you think of Excalibur. That's the icon of the legends. And I knew other legends and stuff, but as soon as I read the script that George gave us, where it said Luke's laser sword, that's what it was called in those days, I knew if I could get that right, it would become the icon if the film would ever work. And there were only 5 of us stood by George's side to make it. The rest of the crew thought it was just an American load of rubbish. And we're all like students, don't forget. And so I knew if I could get it right, this would be an icon.
This is the Star Wars lightsaber. This is the iconic, that when people think of it, now, most people will know this is designed off the Graflex camera. You found that as a prop, correct?
Because I had no money and no time, I couldn't make anything. So I couldn't find anything that would justify what I felt would be the kind of mystical weapon of a Jedi. And so I made Luke's binoculars for the Biner bins, and I'd broken down old camera bits. They gave me anything. I could buy anything that was not used anymore. I made it up, stuck it with super glue together, and I thought I'd better let the audience into the secret. So I thought I'll stick 2 camera lenses on the front. Then they'll know what it is. So to get the camera lenses, I had a friend, David French, who was the manager at Brunnings, which was a big camera store in London.
Okay.
So I went to David French. I bought 2 very cheap lenses to stick up with super glue. And I said, David, have you got anything? I've got to make this weapon kind of science fiction. And he pointed me to a load of boxes in the storeroom. And I opened the first one and opened the box lid. And there were 3 original Graflex handles. These clipped onto a Graflex camera, which was
to the side,
camera,
correct?
To the side. It had this here clipped on to the camera.
Okay.
It was full of batteries, and then there was a big round cylinder on here, a reflector, and the flash bulb was in there, and so it fired off a flash.
Unbelievable.
And when I saw it, I just went, oh, here it is. And it had a red firing button. So I got 3 of them. I ran to the studios. I had T-strip I'd put around the barrel of the Sterling submachine guns.
Yes.
And I made the blasters.
For the Stormtrooper E11, correct?
That's the first thing I ever made on Star Wars.
Okay.
I had some left over, so I thought, you know what, I'll make a handle. That'll change it. So I stuck 7 around it. And then whatever broken bits of stuff they could bring me, I had a Texas Instrument calculator, and I'd unscrewed it and broken it, and I found a bubble strip which had bubbles, which illuminated the numbers and made them enlarge them. And it fitted perfectly because I thought I can't get away with a clip. So I fitted that in there and looked at it. I took some chrome tape that I had that matched the barrel exactly, stuck it around the Graflex name, and called George over and said, I think I found the lightsaber. And George took it, smiled, that was it. His approval was a smile. He just said, could I put on a D-ring on the end because we needed urgently out in Tunisia to hang on Luke's belt.
Okay.
That became this most iconic.
It's unbelievable.
History of cinema.
It truly is, especially this one. Now, when we look back at those props that you created, the Sterling machine guns that became the Star Wars blasters, the camera flash that became the lightsaber, did you find you had more creative fun taking pre-existing technology and items and creating something futuristic from them instead of working from the ground up?
Like this, there's something beautifully engineered, the original one, that you don't quite know what it's for because who knows what it was, but there's something about it that it's real, it's functional. And when you convert that 20% and make it into a Star Wars, it was a creative process that's, we changed the world. I mean, it changed the way that science fiction films to this day are made.
You based your creations on practical, physical things that I are easier for us as a watcher to identify and to maybe our minds create that little bit more of belief that yes, this universe is real because I've seen a Sterling submachine gun and that E11 is pretty close, but it's just a little bit futuristic. So I think that those designs grounded in reality help make them timeless and help make them classic.
The unsung hero of Star Wars is Ralph McQuarrie. And George arrived in London with 6 paintings of Ralph, and in there Star Wars. In those 6 paintings is Star Wars, so I had something to grip onto, except for the lightsaber.
Because it was never seen. It was always held by a character.
It was in the hands of Darth Vader and the stormtroopers on the original paintings, and it looked like a medieval kind of lance.
Yes, it had that kind of that pommel over the top, and yes, which is very interesting.
There was nothing that I thought would represent what I could see as the Jedi's weapon.
Very neat. One of my childhood dreams, and I wish I'd brought today, it was I had a book. The art of Episode 4 Star Wars at the time, and it was the McQuarrie artwork and the concept art. And it's so neat to now see that continually used. We have designs for Chewbacca that are now new characters in the Star Wars universe. Right. So yes, what you've done, what Ralph McQuarrie done, has laid the foundation for everything that we're seeing. Fans, what an experience that was. I got to meet the man behind the creation of the lightsaber. He worked on set with George Lucas and Mark Hamill. As a Star Wars fan, it doesn't get any cooler than that. And Roger Christian, what an amazing man you are. Thank you for your time, your interest, and just everything. You are just wonderful to talk to, so thank you so much. Stay tuned to the channel. We've got some more interviews with Roger coming up, and we'll also have some new content with the release of Acolyte this month. So be sure to like, share, subscribe, and follow Duel the Fans for all your Star Wars related content. Till next time.